to get some breakfast because I don't really have much food right now to cook for myself. I have a salad that somebody gave me yesterday, but I didn't want it for breakfast. You know, it's nice to have something warm to eat in the morning. And I don't have anything for myself. I have food for her, but not really for me. And I mean, I could eat her food, but then she doesn't have any food. So I stopped in this one place that um, I know I can go get hot breakfast every morning. I know I can go there and get it 5 days a week and not have to pay for it. You know, it's helpful to me, especially when I'm working. I don't have time very often. I only have time to cook for her. I don't have time to cook for both of us. So I have to make, I have to choose whether I eat or she eats. And of course she has to eat. My dog. I'm talking about my dog. And so, sometimes I'll stop by there and get some food. And at least I know that, like I can get a hot breakfast there. And I can't stand being there though. I cannot stand like staying there. I say this with a lot of compassion and a lot of empathy because because I used to be like that too. I used to be completely unconscious to everything around me, pretty much everything. I didn't really understand. I just felt sorry for myself. I didn't really understand why my life was such a mess. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't really want to take responsibility like most people don't. And I lived that way, basically walking around like the Walking Dead. I walked around unconsciously, unaware of why my life was the way that it was, why I was experiencing homelessness, why I couldn't seem to hang on to money, why all kinds of things, all kinds of stuff, why I responded to certain situations the way that I did. And I now that I've gotten out of all of that, and I wouldn't say like I'm out of all of it, but I'm aware of all of it. I'm aware of why I do things, why I think in certain ways, why I have certain attitude towards things. Excuse me. I'm aware of it. And the awareness, like G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. And but most people are completely unaware. They are completely unconscious. Like the Bible says, and the dead, there will be no more room in hell and the dead will walk to earth. It's not talking about actual zombies. It's talking about the dead in consciousness, the asleep. Like the Bible also talks about awake, O sleeper. Like this is what it's talking about. People think it's like some zombie apocalypse. No, it's none of that. A lot of people take the Bible completely literally historical. Most people have not read Saul, if that's in fact what his name was. The man who wrote, I think it is Galatians. It's in Galatians 4:24, I think. There's one place in the whole Bible where the word allegory is mentioned. Only one. And it's talking about Hagar and Sarah, where that whole situation is allegorical. That's like the Apostle Paul literally says that. But people take the Bible literally, like as though there was a real person named Sarah and a real person named Hagar. I cannot with that. And I'm empathetic towards people who think that, because for a long time I thought that. I didn't really understand that the Bible was an allegory of the archetypes that we all play as we're, and that even the Christ is in us, like not just in some like esoteric way. No, I mean in a very real way. Like the Christ comes to save the divine feminine. The divine masculine comes to save the divine feminine within each one of us. The second coming of Christ is literally in us as us. I cannot. There's no dude coming on the clouds. Rapture, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Like, not sorry. I didn't make it up. I also didn't make up the rapture doctrine, because rapture doctrine is completely made up. It's completely made up. Research it. Don't take my word for it. I was on the radio for 10 years. I know better. than to, you know, go telling people what I know, because they often take what I know and like misuse the information. Go research it yourself. Rapture doctrine is completely made up. It's not real. None of it is. It's not even actually biblical, and it's not from the original Torah, which is where the Bible comes from. The entire Old Testament is from the Torah. It's all built on Jewish mysticism. All of it. All of it. All of Christianity, all of Catholicism, all of it's all built on the Torah, which is ancient Canaanite, Sumerian. I can't make it up. Like, you know, it's completely out of my hands there. I just simply did the research myself. Check it out yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go Google it. And don't just Google it, but like read it, you know? Just giving like 3.5 seconds of your attention span to something is not actual research. Read it. Read it yourself. Read your Bible. Understand what you're actually reading. Read the Torah. When you start reading the Torah and you understand your Bible, hey, how's it going? You'll start seeing the truth. You can't help it. I mean, unless you're a total idiot, which I doubt that most people aren't. They are not idiots. They're really looking for the truth, especially a lot of Christians in this country. They've been lied to and told that it's one way. They're told that the doctrine is one way. It's very rigid, and it's just simply not true. But when you start studying it and you really start researching it, you'll find that out yourself. And how all of that, understanding the truth of it, really set me free from the different mindsets of like the place that I was in this morning. Everybody's sitting there like, woe is me. They feel sorry for themselves. You know, they're experiencing homelessness too, and they've been traumatized and abused and et cetera, just like me. I get that. But they don't understand that they are operating out of learned helplessness. They don't get it. And so therefore, because they're not aware, they can't change it. So every day they line up, and I mean, I'm talking like probably 50 plus people every day. And they'll sit there from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. doing nothing to make their situation better. Nothing at all. They don't better themselves. They don't meditate. They don't learn any new skills. They don't try to get showers on a regular basis. None of it. And frankly, I'm experiencing the exact same circumstances that they're experiencing, and yet I managed to get my shit together. I managed to get showers. I managed to have decent clothing to wear. And it's not because I have more money. It's just simply because I'm wiser with the resources that I do have. Period. End of story. I'm wiser with my time. I'm wiser with the money that I do have. And I manage my life better because I choose to. It's not that I'm better than them, or holier than thou, or any such other freaking thing. It's nothing like that. I just simply chose to step out of the matrix of bullshit programming that most of us have grown up with, and we were never taught any better. Most of us are operating out of ignorance. Most people in this world don't really know what's going on. They're just walking around barely being able to maneuver in the world. And they kind of wonder why. And like, people are trying to manifest things and all. They don't have any idea what they're doing. Not really. Most people just have no idea. The whole point is, and I don't say that to be condescending or rude. I'm saying it because it's simply the truth. And my heart goes out to them because I know the struggle is real when you're doing everything that you can and things still seem to not be working out. The biggest reason that I see, and there are whole industries built on this. Again, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Think about it yourself. Whole industries built upon the dysregulation of nervous systems. The more dysregulated you are, the more traumatized you are, the more you buy from them, the more you break down and have cravings for salt, sugar, and fat, namely, aka McDonald's or fast food. Like, there are entire industries built on impulse buying. All of it. All based off of the dysregulation, the trauma of your nervous system. All of it. There's literally, like, you can't unsee it once you see it. And how difficult it has been for me in particular to live in the circumstances that I'm living in and see what I see and see the truth of it. It's It's incredibly difficult. Hey, good morning. How's it going? I see women here on YouTube who are obviously, hey, Vicky, how's it going? God bless you. Who are obviously just, you know, they're just fake. Let's just be real. They're just fake, fake, fake. They're on there doing their makeup and everything else. And I'm not dissing makeup. Makeup's great. It's fun. I'm an artist myself. I like to, you know, I like to have my clear palette so I can paint on my face too. But that's all they're doing. And they get paid hundreds of dollars. People donate hundreds of dollars to them. And yet they're just really there to shake their boobs and, you know, ooh, look at me. And like people pay for that. People pay just to look at them. And yet you would not believe how much difficulty I have had as a woman of God just getting some help maintaining my car. And it's not because I'm not pretty. It's not because I'm just like, you know, some jerk. I'm from Santa Barbara, California. I'm in Central California right now. You know, but like I'm also not willing to sell myself out. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not doing that ever. Like that's never been my thing. When I was on this app called Periscope years ago doing live broadcasting. I did live broadcasting probably 2-3 times a day. And I was always just on there helping people with their grief, helping people understand themselves, and also doing my artwork for hours, all day, every day. That was what I did. And I was able to build a resin business from it. I shipped my artwork around the world, New Zealand, Canada, all over the United States, Ireland. There was a Catholic priest who bought I think it was 2 or 3 resin pieces from me. Excuse me. And like it blows my mind how at least in the past, I don't know that it would remain this way, but how difficult I've seen it be for people who are truly authentic to get along in this world, versus people who just want to be fake. It's been a real shame, and I've seen a lot of it. I don't know what language you speak, Vicky. English is probably one of the worst languages to try to learn. At least that's what I've been told by people who speak other languages, like Spanish speakers and Italian and Japanese. I've met a couple of Japanese speakers recently. And apparently English is the hardest language to learn because, not because it's particularly complex or anything, but because there are a lot of different rules having to do with the way that you speak it and the way that you write it, that don't make any sense. And I don't mind saying that because the English language really does not make sense. You'd probably be better off learning Latin or something like that. Anyway, I don't... What I mean to say is the way that I got the command of the English language that I have, why I speak it so well, and I understand it so well, and I understand the words that I'm using so thoroughly, is because I studied Latin for about 3 years when I was in school, when I was very young in school. And that gave me a very excellent command of the English language. But without that, I think it's very difficult because you don't really understand. Like I said, a lot of English doesn't really make sense. But like I was leaving that place that I was in this morning, and all I could do was just send them love and pray for them that they wake up and see what their lives are really about, and see that they're not helpless. They don't have to sit around and feel sorry for themselves all day. There are other things to do. There are more productive things that would make them feel better about themselves, that would not just help them, but help others. And that remains my prayer for right now. Because you really can't force people to wake up, and you can't force people to care when they've spent their entire life not caring, when they've spent their entire life being told that they're victims. And it becomes nearly impossible to convince them of anything else. But when you start taking responsibility for your own life is when you actually have control over it, is when you actually start to have the power to change your life. It's when you realize that you're not just at the whim of everything and everybody else. And that can be both really frustrating and terrifying, but it's also the most freeing experience that any human being could ever have. Because once you realize that you're in control of your own life and nobody else, you start taking responsibility for the situation that you're in. And that's why, like, yeah, I'm experiencing homelessness, but do I feel sorry for myself? Not at all. Not in the slightest bit. I realized that there were things that were out of my control. However, I take control of everything that I can, and I leave the rest in God's hands, period. Because I can't control. Stop, baby girl. I can't control everything, but I can do my best. I do my best to meet God more than halfway, and he meets me the rest of the way. And I go out of my way to not worry and not complain. And I let the Father take care of the rest. I let the universe take care of the rest. God set up specific universal laws, like the law of return, the law of correspondence. And I live by those laws, and the better I understand them, the more free I am. Because when we operate within God's laws and when we operate by his commandments, and I don't mean like in a religious sense at all, because God is not in religion. When we operate in his laws and his commandments, and we don't do things that are bad for us, because when we do things that are bad for us, we're literally sabotaging God's ability to help us. And it's not that God couldn't help us anyway. It's just that he sets out a very specific set of rules, so to speak. And when we don't follow them, we're the ones getting out of alignment. So I just genuinely pray for this world, that people wake up, that people see what's actually going on around them, and start understanding how they can empower themselves, how they can heal their own nervous system from trauma, and how that in turn heals their bodies in ways that they were told by all the hospitals and all the doctors were impossible. That would have to be a miracle. Yep, and miracles happen every day. That's the truth. And anyone who says differently, it's just simply not living in the real reality. They're just not. They just don't understand it. I've been told so many times by so many doctors and hospitals that I would never heal from certain things. And here I am, completely healed. And the doctors can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out. But my point is, how many miracles have to stack up in one person's life before we actually start looking at them like the walking, talking miracle that they are? My life has been one miracle after another. It's all strung together. My life's just one big miracle, holding hands. And yet, some people, they just simply don't want to see the truth, even when you plop it right down in front of them. So just like the people in the place where I was getting breakfast this morning, you know, they all want to line up and, oh, I'm homeless and join the club. Been there, done that, and I guarantee you, I've had it 10 times harder than them. True story. I have no friends, no family. All my family's dead. I have one friend in the whole world. One. That's it. And my dog. And God. And myself. But people truly don't understand how much they disempower themselves. They really don't get it. And if they truly did understand that, how much they would want to stop victimizing themselves. It's not pretty, and it's not easy to hear the truth. The truth is often very ugly and harsh at first. And then you start softening your heart and you see it for what it really is. And you think to yourself, wow, you know what? If that is the truth, then maybe I have a chance to change my life. None of it's easy to swallow, but with God, all things are possible. So I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through the Christ in me who strengthens me. And that's the beautiful thing, is that it's available to each and every one of us. Not one of us is denied access to the Christ within us. Not one. So it really becomes a matter of our own choice. Anyhow, if you'd like to donate to myself and my dog and our mission, there's a link to my Cash App and my Venmo, I believe, in the description of this channel. It's at Refined Gratitude for my Venmo. That's at Refined Gratitude. And for the Cash App, it's the $ Refined Gratitude. Same name. Anyhow, I hope this video finds you blessed. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.